video you.
Okay.
How do you zoom it?
No, don't zoom.
I'd like to zoom a little bit.
Okay, Wanda.
What do you know Munchkins do?
There they
Are
are.
you ready? It's recording. So, this is called Let's Make a Date, and it's telling us to take a dip into the past. To find out more about each other, we're to invite our in-laws, which that's you guys.
Okay. Okay.
And do this by hand or via video or audio. Both of you should. So,
What?
ask about your in-laws. Ask questions like, what were the most interesting things they did together? What are the most interesting things you guys did together?
Back then or right now?
Both.
I would say the most interesting and fun things we did together was going to dances.
Oh, yeah.
We used to,
Yes.
that was pretty much in our day, the highlight of our weekend would be, we'd get together with our buds and we'd all go to a dance somewhere. Sometimes drink too much, and then we'd party until the wee hours in the morning. And Joan's mom had a saying that it's not late until it's 2, but when it's 2, it's too late. So we had to be home by 2 all the time. So,
In other words, have her home by 2.
yeah.
Pretty good.
Nice.
You?
And then they say, where did you go to school?
I went to 2 different schools. I went to, I was 2 miles from school and I had to walk all by myself and I was scared out of my ever-loving mind. And I went to school with one other family and they were all from the same family, 9, and me.
Yeah.
Only those kids had to walk a lot. They had to walk about 7 miles.
What?
Wow. No horses or buggies or anything? Oh my goodness.
This family particularly was
Who
very,
is that?
very, very poor.
Sadoffs.
Sadoffs,
Hmm.
yeah. And in fact, Dad and I were just going through a whole bunch of savesies, and Bill sent me a picture of the school that I went to, the very first school I ever went to, and what they called a teacherage, like when they had a school in the country.
Yeah.
There was a little house right beside the school, and that was called a teacherage,
That's where the teacher lived?
and that's where the teacher lives.
Mm.
And the teacher was Mom's best friend, so that's where I used to go and stay occasionally with the teacher in the teacherage. Okay, now your turn.
Okay, Dad, you next.
Well, when I started school, we were on the farm, and me and my sister Teresa, we had a little pony called Billy. And we would sometimes ride double on Billy to school, which was, I think, 1.5 miles. It's, we used to think it was 5 miles, but I don't think it was. And then sometimes we had a little cart that we could hook Billy up to, and we could drive him in from the cart too. And I remember one time we had him on the cart and it rained, and the wheels on the buggy got so big that we had, there was a neighbor lady, and she used to watch for us, I guess. And anyway, she come out, and that was Ethel. No, not Ethel.
No. Mrs. Majerson.
Yeah. And anyway, Mrs. Majerson come out and she said, "Okay, you kids, that pony can't pull you guys. Get out here and come in here, and I'll phone your mom, and you can stay here till they come down and get you." So we did that, and then had to leave the cart there.
Tell the other story about Teresa driving.
And then, then I always like to drive. And I think maybe Hoxie has a bit of me in him because Teresa wouldn't let me drive. So I'd get out of the cart, I guess, and I'd stand there and wait, and she'd go ahead of me, and then she'd think, well, he isn't going to come. So she'd stop, and then she'd yell at me and everything, and then she'd take off again, and then I'd run after the car, and then she'd stop for me to get in, and I wouldn't get in, and then, but anyway, that went on, I guess, the whole way home, so.
That's funny.
But I don't believe that.
Okay,
So how did you meet and fall in love?
Oh, I was just wondering that question.
we met, I had a date, there was 1, 2, that was Ken, that's when you guys came to the farm. Kenny Brown, and I was madly in love with Dad's best friend.
Oh.
And I'd never been out on a date with him. And so I had taken the car with 2 of my friends, Bonnie and Marilyn, and they followed us home. And so I went into the house to tell Mom and Dad that we were going to a wiener roast. And I come out, and my best friend was sitting in the front seat beside this Kenny Brown. And my other friend, Marilyn, both of them are dead now. My other friend, Marilyn,
Serves them for doing that.
didn't want to be with anybody, so she pushed me in, and I ended up beside him.
Was this in high school?
No, yeah, my grade 12, you'd be in.
Oh, no, it was before the
Like grade 11
wasn't it?
maybe.
Yeah. And all I heard was, "Where have you been all my life?"
Oh my
Right,
Right?
I don't remember
Is
that.
that thing recording? Make sure it's recording. We gotta get all this.
And then, what was the next question?
When did you meet?
Oh, okay,
How
the
did you-
Saturday night dance.
Yeah, and how,
The
yeah.
second time was on a date. He really hosed me because I was in love with another guy.
They're too noisy.
But Dad knew who this other guy was, so I had this date with Wilf, and this was down at the lake, and your dad came along, and he said, "I'm here to tell you that Wilf can't make it," and he asked me if I would take you to the Saturday night dance.
Was that true?
No.
No.
Didn't think so. Didn't think so.
So there, and then that's from then on we started to go to stage.
And then
Tell-
And then the funniest part
Tell-
of my whole story is that, so then Wilf and I and Joan and this other girl he started going with, Diane, ended up being best friends.
Yeah.
So did you like her from the very beginning?
Joan? Okay, my story is that I actually had a crush on another girl. And I was going to take her to my grade 12 graduation, and she dumped me. And so I didn't know what to do. And I did like Joan at the time. And so I phoned Joan and asked her if she would go to my grade 12 graduation with me, and she agreed to. And then we pretty much went steady after that.
So the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah,
Basically,
pretty much. Yeah.
Basically, the rest is history.
Mm.
But it took me a long time. I mean, I had a lot of talking to do. Mom wasn't going to let me go to Keith's graduation because I was going to the convent.
Can you tell us the story about why Grandpa Woods didn't like you, Dad?
Oh yeah.
Does this have to do with the car?
I would just as soon not, but.
Come on, come on. I want to hear it.
Anyway, my dad was away, and I wanted to go to a Saturday night dance in a little town called Plato, and she always went to those dances. And anyway, I finally talked my mom into giving me the car.
And it was
And
a
it was
brand new car.
It was only a year old. It was a '55 Ford, and it would go like a son of a gun. And so anyway, we go to a dance. I picked up 5 other kids in Elrose, and we went over to Plato and to a dance. And my cousin was there, and he had about 4 people in his car. So anyway, after the dance, we were roaring around a little bit, and we decided we were going to race over these hills. It's called the
And-
Green Hill.
And it's the hills are just.
So anyway, I took off, and I was quite a bit ahead of him right off the bat. And I don't really know how fast we were going, probably about 100. And anyway, I hit a hill, and we went airborne for 110 yards. They based it on. The cops came out, and anyway, went through the air, and just, I don't know how lucky we could have been, but I guess I must have just held right onto the steering wheel. And we bounced, and blew all the tires on the car. Or not blew them, but they got big bubbles on them, thump, 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 something like that. So anyway, then we were still probably 8 hours
See the
or
scar on his forehead right there?
8 miles from Melrose, and when we landed, my hand came down and hit the horn ring, and the horn ring came up and cut me here. And anyway, when we finally stopped the car, I looked around, and there's nobody in the car with me. And all the doors had come open, and everybody went flying out, I guess. And anyway, one guy did get hurt quite bad. This is Warren Brown.
His best friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he ended up in the hospital for about 2 weeks with a bad back. And he, later in life, never had any problems from it at all.
Oh,
So,
good.
So do you guys know what a horn ring is? On the old cars, they used to have a chrome ring that went around just inside the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And it was only a half moon or a full moon, and you used to push it to honk the horn.
Yeah.
And it was always steel.
Yeah.
Right, so that thing came right off the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, continue your story a little bit. Your dad.
Oh,
found
yeah,
out.
and then, so Joan's dad, of course.
No, your dad first.
What your dad did to you.
What your dad did to you.
Oh,
when
no,
he found
yeah,
out.
he said,
Son,
okay, son, you're done driving my vehicles. He said, I'll buy as many pairs of shoes as you want, but you're never getting my vehicle again, and I never
and he
did.
never did.
Until after Joan and I were married. Yeah. And anyway, so then Joan's dad heard about me flying over to Green Hill.
He wouldn't speak to me.
Because you were going out with that Dad McGuire boy.
He would always sit at the table and he'd say, Bika, would you ask Joan to pass this? Bika, would you ask Joan to pass that?
Yeah.
So you know what? Every kid goes through it.
Oh yeah, yeah. My brother smashed up my dad's truck because he did. Us younger ones never got to touch anything of his. My older
Yeah.
brother wrecked it for everybody, not just himself. Okay, so what were your expectations when you guys got married? What were your expectations of each other when you got married?
It was a tough one.
Wow. My expectation was that I was going to change him. There were some things I didn't like about him. And I was going to change him, but to no success.
Well, that still goes on today.
To
It's
no
the same.
success, absolutely not.
And that's pretty much true for me too, because my wife was kind of a swelt brat. Her dad gave her everything she wanted. And I thought,
I'll change her.
I'll change her, but she was working at Southstel the same as I was, the first payday we went. And anyway, on the way home, I said to Joan, so how much money did you make in your check? And she said, well, it's my money. I said, what do you mean it's your money? And so anyway, we kind of solved that problem, and then I find out that she had went at noon hour and spent her whole paycheck on a new coat.
I thought
And she really thought that money was all her
Right.
money, yeah. I'm gonna
because
look
I thought
after her.
that's why I got married, so he was gonna look after me.
Yeah.
So we hadn't talked financial at all by the time we got married, I guess. But
And that was actually a big problem through our whole life.
it was.
Our whole life.
What do you mean was? Is.
It is not.
Mom, be honest.
It
You
isn't.
still hide a little bit.
I hide nothing.
You still spend a little bit.
Okay, I do. But I hide nothing anymore.
That's to me now.
I like that
Kind of
idea.
noisy.
I get my check and you pay for me to live too.
Yeah, right. Well, I thought that's what happened. Anyway,
So what were some of the lessons you learned about being happy together?
Well, it took us to go to marriage counseling
Yeah.
after we'd been married for 30 years. And I don't wish that on anybody. I don't wish that on any of my grandchildren, any of my children, because going to counseling, marriage counseling was the best thing we ever did. And we'd been married for 30 years. And I'm not saying they were all terrible, they weren't. There was a lot of happy times, but there was a lot of sad times too, because we were at one another's, I don't know, how do you put that, but we were both very, very stubborn,
Yeah.
you know, and we kept trying to change one another, and that is not the way life is. You can only change yourself. And I finally realized that, and how much happier I am since I've done that. Not all the time, I still fight with that.
Yeah, that's what I'd say too, that, not to have too big of expectations because you can only change yourself. But, and to talk, I mean, that's
Yes.
the big thing.
And that little mutt right over there has made a big change in our lives. Unbelievable. Who would have ever thought we'd get up and have coffee in the morning and talk about what we went through with Mazzy the night
With the
before?
dog. Duke stop.
But it is. I mean,
So what do you think your secret was for getting through difficult times together?
Well, I don't know, we both had the program, we had the AA program and Dad had the AA program and I had the Al-Anon program, and I think that's when we were at our best, right?
Probably.
Yeah, because that's where we learn to let go
Yeah.
of one another.
That's the one let go.
Yeah, let go and let God. It's, and I mean, the 12 steps are in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
So if you could give young couples that are just getting married secret of having a full marriage, a really good fulfilled marriage, what would it be?
Well, I guess with a lot of hard work. It's just accepting one another for who they are. Not trying to change them. Being respectful to one another. And I'm going to use Dallas and Kavita as an example. Because we lived with them for 5 days and I never saw either one of them raise their voice. I don't know, maybe they do, we're not around, but they didn't. And they both respected one another. It just, you know, you could tell that they loved one another, and I guess mainly respect. Like Kavita, I would never have thought Kavita was the kind of wife she is, but she's the most down-to-earth person you would ever want to meet. She's a good wife, she's a good cook, you know. Anyway, and if they keep that up, they'll have a good marriage. And I think that's respect.
Yep.
And they spend time together. I often think about the wheel of life. It's like a piece of pie, and it's supposed to be in equal parts. You know, like you have your family, you have your togetherness, you know, you have your time to yourself, you have Christianity, you can cut it into many pieces as you want. But if one of those things gets out of whack, then something else suffers. And it's pretty hard to keep them. You gotta really work hard at keeping that.
Deb?
I think, like Jonas covered there, pretty much the same. Probably kindness, being considerate of the other person's opinion probably is a big one. And trying to fulfill the marriage. I mean, it's probably pretty easy to drift apart, and, especially when things aren't going your way. So that's a tough one. And I think another big thing is to be involved with your family, because that's always your common thread, and it's always the ones that you think about and care about. And I know for me anyways, just seeing all the kids doing well and nobody having any major problems, and it gives you a really good feeling inside. And we've been through a lot of tough times.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, at our age, it's pretty nice to have some 4 beautiful kids and beautiful families, and nobody in real dire straits. It's touch wood, exception.
Right.
Sweet. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
It's good.
And scene.
Right, yeah.